Gary, how do you go about analysing that performance?
Yeah, listen, hugely disappointed to lose a local derby. Hugely disappointed to lose it by the scoreline that we did. And in particular, to play, I felt okay first half. I thought there was a lot of things we did well. There were some things I wanted us to do better at half time, and I spoke to the team about that. I felt as though, a couple of times our decision making on the ball led to Wolves counter-attacking us, which they did what we've done to so many teams over the last 18 months, and they picked a very hard work inside. They dropped in and countered, and they did it with a real energy, So, but to go a goal up with Shea, I thought it was a terrific finish. He gets into that position and he's got real composure finding that far corner of the net. And actually, we got in some other really good positions as well. Had some good efforts on goal and looked quite good in the attacking sense. Put a lot of pressure on Wolves first half. So second half, we just needed to rectify one or two of the areas that caused us a little bit of concern and start. You've got to always start the first 10 minutes of a second half, particularly against Wolves, with a bit of intensity in terms of the way you defend and the way you deny teams space. And we started, very, very poor kick from Thomas. We win the ball back, a ball into Clayton, it's a poor touch from Clayton. And then we don't recover our shape from there on in. I think it was Price that ends up running off us wide, passes it into Mason, who turns. And again, not enough pressure on the ball. Listen, it's a wonderful finish, but nowhere near enough pressure that we would like. So to be 1-1 at that point, I thought that game really, as you saw afterwards, knocked the wind out of our sails and really knocked the stuffing out of us. But we've got to react better. And that was probably the most disappointing bit. Listen, the scoreline's obvious. The way we played second half is obvious. But the way we reacted to conceding that goal was probably the most concerning thing for me. And sometimes you go, you concede a goal and you're ending up at 1-1. There's plenty of a game left. You just got to keep your heads for the next 5-10 minutes and see out whatever happens and keep your shape and see if we can have a real go at getting our composure back. And it's happened a couple of times over the last season as well, where we just then make bad decisions and just don't get it back quick enough, and we ended up conceding a very poor goal from a set piece. Again, we get out jumped, a header comes in, Thomas parries it straight to the ladder, we don't follow it in. So to be 2-1 down at that point is really disappointing, particularly the way we started first half.
And what's the message to the players now ahead of Norwich next Saturday?
Well, again, we've got to keep our composure. We've got to play with control, and at times I thought today we did first half, and then after that we didn't. So our reaction to conceding a goal was poor. We then concede another one, and then the likes of Jack comes on, and listen, I want to see commitment. I'm like the fans. I want to see commitment and passion from my players and from my team, but you've got to show it in a different way than that. It has to manifest itself in a chasing balls, making tackles, not winning a free kick and then throwing your head at a defender. I don't think the defender helped by his reaction, but it was a deserved sending off, no complaints. And then as a young lad, you've got to get off the pitch to then start booting the advertising orders. I think he's probably showing his frustration in the wrong way.
As you highlighted, Jonathan Spector used the term momentum when talking about Wolves in the second half. It was just a case of just kind of settling things down, wasn't it, and just making sure that you could just kind of get over that first wave of pressure.
Well, I think what you have to do is when you have to see where the game's going, and you have to manage games well. And I thought Wolves managed the game much better than us in terms of we concede the first goal. It's still 1-1. There's still 43 minutes to go. And we then start chasing around all over the place and making bad decisions on the ball. And sometimes you have to stop that momentum in any game, whether you're at home or away. Stop the momentum by keeping your shape and having a little bit of common sense about your play. And then the game hopefully then settles down for you to start to chase it even more later on. So, but we never quite got to that point. I felt at 2-1, we had 5 minutes of pressure where we pinned them in and got into some really good positions in terms of the final third, not shooting positions or scoring positions, before it got into some good positions. And then, of course, to lose a man at that point to stop us chasing the game was again hugely frustrating.